All right.
Welcome back. Hour 2 and 3 of Parapalooza 2020. I'd say 2020.
2020, yes.
Day 2.
Yes. And this hour, we have a very special guest. We have Elizabeth with Grandma's Haunted Dolls. We're going to be talking spiritual dolls. Let's go ahead and bring on Elizabeth.
Hi, Elizabeth.
Hello.
Can you hear us?
Hi, Elizabeth. How are you?
I can hear you, and there's no feedback. It's great.
That's
All
awesome.
right.
That's great.
Oh, and some more dolls. This is awesome.
Yeah. This is all that's
All right.
here at this house. I sent the other ones back to the farm.
So how many dolls do we have with us today, do you think?
How many are here
Yeah, do you think?
at the
You don't have
house?
to count them. Approximately.
Probably 100
100?
total
Okay,
here
good.
at the house.
All right. Awesome.
hmm And pictures. We have spirited pictures, 1, 2, 3 here on the wall.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So you were saying earlier that you have people that want to jump onto the stream. So just let everybody know that, and this is for everybody watching too. If you guys want to catch these segments, you can catch us on YouTube and Facebook. If you go onto the Parapalooza page on both platforms, and you'll see us live.
Yeah, so you'd have to tweet that out, I guess.
Yeah.
Michelle's helping us out with that today,
Okay,
too.
cool. So, okay, Elizabeth. We'll
Yeah.
turn it over
Nobody
to
knew.
you.
Like, we didn't know. Otherwise, I would have.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we could start off. I mean, you can just tell us how this all came to be, where you acquired all the dolls and how you became the caretaker.
How I became the caretaker was, this was just like my purpose in the family, was to be the caretaker of the dolls once Grandma passed. And it's an interesting story. The day she passed, do you want to hear it?
Yes.
absolutely.
please.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Okay. My daughters had heard her singing in the bathroom, and I walked by the fan turned on, and then there was a black cloud that went from their room to our room. But unbeknownst to us, she had passed. We didn't know at that time, and we knew she was going to, but that's what happened the day that she actually passed. So that was pretty interesting.
Wow.
She wasn't even in the house, like, that was
Right.
just her way of letting us know.
She came to you and tried to make her presence known, huh?
She did. Yeah, she made it very well known. She stuck around that house for quite some time. Had a lot of fun things happen there.
And so these were all your grandma's dolls. And how many total dolls did she have in her possession when she passed?
She had 2,500 dolls in her. I think we've adopted out 222 so far.
Jahan being one of them, right?
Yes, she is.
Yes. Yep.
Yep. She is. How's she doing today? I see that she had fun at your all's house the other day.
Oh yeah. We'll see how she does today with Julie.
Yeah.
So do you know? Obviously. You know
Well, it
the
made
story
sense
behind
with
it.
the American flag and all.
Yeah. Yeah. How did your
Yeah.
grandmother acquire all the dolls? Was this just something that's gone on from generation to generation, or?
Yeah, it's a generational thing from Europe. A lot of the dolls are actually from Europe. Some are stateside since they, were here stateside. But I have family in Paris that has houses there with dolls in them as well. And I will be getting some of those too. It just matter of spreading them out once people are no longer there watching them.
Right.
Wow. So if we were to go back to the beginning of this doll collection, how did that all start? Do you know?
Like the first family member?
Yes. Yeah. So where did that begin with the family? So
that would have started like about 4 generations, 5, like great grandma.
Oh wow.
A very long time. I never met those people.
So then your grandmother.
I knew my
inherited
grandma
them.
and great grandmother.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
So then you're
Yeah, and then as my children will and grandchildren, if there's any left of these,
uh-huh. And so you're the fifth
but everybody
generation,
has
is
their
that
own
what?
collection. For these
Wow.
particular, yes. For these
Wow.
particular ones. Yes. Some of the photographs are actually older than that. We have a lot of those. I have a photograph book that's a jewelry box that sits downstairs. That even goes further back
Wow.
in the family.
Now I know I've watched
Yeah.
quite a few of your videos on your YouTube page, and there seems to be a lot of activity going on in that house.
There is.
Has there been anything that's actually kind of freaked you out, or you just kind of it's a normal day for you?
I wouldn't say freak me out, but I get really excited when, I don't know if you saw it, there was 2 things caught on camera where you can actually see the full figures.
Mm-hmm.
One walked from like the window area to the dresser, and that's when the dolls were in there. I moved them. And then the other one in the left, you could see it just kind of like floating around. And that went on for quite some time. So I get excited when I get that on camera, because to like actually explain to people what I can see, and they're like, yeah, we don't see it type thing, is really exciting. So yeah, nothing freaks me out. So,
Cool. So it's just another day. That's
just
awesome.
another day. Yeah. Yeah.
I can't
Even for the
stop looking at
grandkids,
the
it's just
dolls.
another day.
I could have sworn that one
Yeah.
just next to you, the one with the braid. I could have sworn she looked right at you. That was
Yeah.
crazy. Are we having a
She's
video?
actually a
The
witch, a
Hollywood
103-year-old
Annabelle,
witch.
huh? Oh, wow.
Are we having a delay?
Yeah, the
Okay.
vessel itself is, yes.
Yeah.
Sorry. Have to,
Oh, that's what it was.
there we go.
So there is a little delay in the video, just so everybody knows.
Right.
So
That kind of freaked me out.
yeah, she's getting the questions a little bit later than what we're asking her. So so that's okay though.
Oh, am
So-
I? Okay.
Yeah, that's okay. It's just what happens when you go over the internet like we do. So, so I do have to ask about the Annabelle doll, because obviously she's not, that old. How
No,
did you
she is
acquire
a
her?
103-year-old witch. There's a lady in Russia who's on my Instagram who makes dolls. And I have
Okay.
a few special dolls that she's actually making me. And she sent one. It's on its way. I'd love to share that when it gets here. She makes the Annabelles, but whoever enters the Annabelle or any vessel that's brought here is its own choice and own free will. So who entered this is a 103-year-old witch. She's kind of my little partner here.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Partner in crime? Is that what that is?
Pretty much. Yeah.
So do you have
Yep.
any dolls that you would say are more active than any particular one, or does it really just depend?
Yeah. The ones I just sent back to the farm.
Oh.
Those are the ones that, yeah, I did. It sounds mean, but I boxed them up and I put them back on the land where the rest of them are, because they were a little competitive on letting me know they're here, breaking things, electronics messing up, opening doors, which some of that's caught on camera. I'm sure you've probably seen that.
I'm thinking I did.
yeah.
So that's doll gel, the ranch? Is that
It is.
where they go
Yeah.
when they're bad? Huh?
That's where they go when there's, not enough time in the day to deal with it all. And that's where I have the dark room. It's not my dark room particularly. It's my grandmother's. It's the basement. We call it the dark room. And that's where anything dark stays that we don't want to bring into our house.
Wow. That would be a
And I've
great place
adopted
to
a few of those
investigate.
out.
I would love to go there
Special
and
people.
investigate that dark room.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Have fun with that. I don't even like going in there. But yeah.
So you pretty
Yeah, my
much keep
aunt lives
equipment
out
on
there.
all the time, huh?
I do. But like I had told Lindsay, 3 of my cameras are down, and they shouldn't be down, but they're down.
Is that just today?
So I have one.
So I guess there are
No.
more dolls that are going to be going to the ranch soon.
No, they went, and I was like, now I need to replace these 3 cameras because they were new cameras.
And
This
the cameras just
happened.
don't work at all. Huh?
Not at all. It's not a battery issue. It's not a
Wow.
technical issue. It's just they absolutely do not work. Only one, and that's when it wants to.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Crazy.
So
We're
it's
hoping to get a bunch of
frustrating though. It's kind of
questions coming up
expensive.
here. But yeah, that could get expensive.
Yeah. you can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. If anybody has any questions for Elizabeth, please jump on and ask some questions. Can you see the comments, Elizabeth, from where you're at? The comments that come through?
I see. We can hear you. I know I had a lot of people that wanted to watch this, but I literally thought we just logged onto your page
Oh, if you
and
go
watched
up,
it, but apparently that's not the case.
yeah, the comment I made in the private, that was in the private chat, but if you go all the way up to comments on the right-hand side of the screen, you should be able to see everybody's comments that are coming through. So
Yeah, we have quite a few.
Yeah.
don't have any questions yet.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this I'm new to this computer stuff. Okay. There we go.
So are we. At least this
it.
platform we are.
Yeah.
So.
So Christine's back on with us, so I'm sure she'll have some questions.
We have a question.
Oh, what does it mean, darkroom dolls? That's evil dolls. Dolls you don't want to play with. Negative. Yes.
Now, do you put those behind glass or put them in cases or anything? I've heard that helps.
Some of them are. Some of them are just in boxes with certain things on top of them. Not like weights, but certain herbs and stuff. My
Okay.
aunt mixes it up.
Interesting. And
My
we've heard
great
the
aunt,
story-
actually, not my aunt. My great aunt.
Huh.
Right. And we've heard the story that glass helps. Have you experienced that? Like, what's the little?
I have.
Well, the Annabelle in the Warrens Museum is behind glass.
The real Annabelle, the Raggedy Ann Annabelle. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I
then the other
personally
thing-
haven't visited her.
That would be freaky, I think.
Probably.
But one thing I did hear or read was that the color red, if you cover them in red, like a red material or something, that it actually blocks their energy from escaping that area. So I don't know how true that is, but I read that. You ever heard that?
I
think
have
you're talking
personally
about a
never
bull.
heard that.
I'm kidding.
Okay. Well, that attracts bulls.
That attracts them.
Yeah.
So red sends them away. All right.
But what works for one person may not work for another person.
Sure,
It just
true.
depends.
Mhm.
Everybody's got their own little tricks that they have.
No, I had a laugh earlier because you and I were doing some testing earlier, the computers and stuff like that, and we were talking about the Annabelle doll, and I said, no, the real one, and you pointed to the Raggedy Ann doll,
You're talking about Hank.
and you said that was Hank. I thought
Yeah.
that was kind of
So that's Andy then, huh?
it's Hank. Right. So,
Hank.
So
Yeah, Hank is an alcoholic. He's wild. Yeah, he likes to drink, and he liked his booze in his day, and he was wild.
Wow.
I love Hank's personality. I actually thought I had him adopted out. I held him for a long time. I never posted him, but I don't know what happened to the person. But yeah, so Hank is still here. Oh Lord.
Somebody wants to adopt a doll.
Yeah, I'm just gonna take this and do that.
I love it.
oh, that's good.
I got to do this. I'm sorry.
That works, right?
All right.
So Kathleen says, what do you call the one doll witch? I think she might not have heard when you said that the witch is using the doll as a vessel.
She's an actual witch. Yeah, she actually is a witch. She does spells and everything with me. Yeah, she's awesome. She's 103. She was 103 years old. Yep.
Now, is there such a thing
I
as,
honestly have her on my.
is there such a thing as the
Go ahead.
good witches versus bad witches, or white magic versus black magic? I mean, is there really a difference between the two?
Most- Yeah, most definitely. There's definitely more than two. There's several. Green witch, white witch, there's a huge, I'm a natural witch. I can practice the dark, but I know the consequences, so I don't do it.
So would you be a white witch?
I have somebody else do it. I'm a natural
She's
witch.
shade of gray.
Yeah, more of a gray witch or a white witch?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, gray witch. No, there is a gray witch. No, natural witch, just a natural witch.
Okay.
She can be more of a dark witch because she's not gonna have too much come back to her that she can't handle. So
Now, does that mean that you practice Wiccan, or is it your own?
no, that's a
brand of,
religion, actually.
Yeah.
No,
Let's-
I don't really know what it means. It's just how I grew up. It's just a natural born witch. Like
It's just who you were born as.
You were just-
I mean, you're just who you
yeah.
are.
So I guess since this whole witch thing has gotten popular over years via internet or whatever, they started titling it publicly what type of witch you are. But for me, it's just the natural witch, born into it for many generations.
Okay. But
Yeah.
to answer,
So we don't. It's not like we
Wendy's
go.
question-
Yeah.
Yeah, Wendy was just
Yeah, what did
asking
Wendy
about
ask?
the doll that's right by you. That's the Hollywood Annabelle doll, but that one that
Yeah.
that she has a 103-year-old witch that occupies that vessel. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay,
By choice. Yes.
by choice.
Right.
hmm
And that's just fascinating.
So BS Designs,
Now
Michelle
this is Wendy
says,
with the gun.
Yeah.
yeah.
Wendy's
Yeah, Wendy's got a gun. Okay.
So Michelle from
checking.
BS Designs was asking if anybody wants to adopt a doll, how can they do that if they're interested in adopting?
Well, I have it pulled up here. It's Grandma's Haunted Dolls and Items on Etsy.
On Etsy.
On Etsy, okay.
Yep.
So
I don't know
Michelle,
if
if
you're
you can
able to
find the
see
Etsy page.
Or not.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah.
yes.
Yeah, we can see it. Yep.
Yeah. It's called Grandma's Haunted Dolls and Items. And it's got this logo. Can you see it?
a little
It's kind of
closer.
the glare's got it.
We saw it when
Kinda-
you held it
yeah.
up close. So
Glare.
you can see it.
Oh,
There
I
you
held
go.
it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, that's perfect right
Perfect.
there.
Look for that.
So we'll
Now the
have
Annabelle
Michelle
vessel's
post
on
that.
there, but she's priced high because I don't truly expect her to adopt out because she is my buddy. So she's just kind of on there to show that she exists, but I doubt anybody would really adopt her out.
Yeah.
I just put up your logo. I didn't want to do it before because I was going to block the dolls, but I just put it up for a second. That way
blocking
people can
Hank.
see it. It's blocking
Oh.
Hank. Yeah, I don't want to make Hank upset. But
He's
Yeah.
gonna
Oh
start
no,
drinking.
Hank's not going to like that.
yeah. So we'll put it up
Yeah.
for a minute and then we'll take it down again.
Yeah, we can't move it around.
Yeah.
It's a,
No,
that's
they
a
do-
shame.
Can't go to the corner.
Okay.
Yeah, that stinks.
Yeah.
They do all have different personalities. It could be overwhelming. It's like being in a room of like, say 100 people and they all want to talk to you. So imagine 100 people with different personalities, you know, you got to like entertain them all. So
Right.
Yeah, I remember we had you on our whoops, that was a double hunt, our hunt show. And I asked you if it was like adopting out your own children. And you said, yes, it really was, because you do have an attachment
Yeah.
to all of them. And so just
Yeah.
anybody wanting to adopt one of your dolls, they have to be vetted first, right?
they do. There's a couple things I do. I keep the price high so you don't just adopt as a toy. I had that happen and I will not allow that to happen again. And honestly, I've had a couple of them sent back. People couldn't handle them. But yeah, I want to be sure they're going to a forever home and that there's a plan after the forever home. Some people decide to send them back. Some people have other people that will like carry it on. So yeah, I do ask questions.
So that'd be more of a if they turn them back, that'd be more of fostering, wouldn't it be?
Yeah, I guess they've been
Yeah.
foster parents.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Well,
I
you
mean,
get
they
subsidy for
choose
that,
to
too.
send them back, you know. They just can't handle it or give them the time they need.
Right.
Because they do need attention. They do need time,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
just
one of
like
our
a kid, you know?
yeah. I was just gonna say one of our guests yesterday, Brian from Ghost Quest. His girlfriend was on making comments saying that she wished her house was haunted.
Right.
And so I messaged her back and said, "Hey, well, you need to adopt one of Grandma's dolls." And she said, "No," which I felt bad about that. So,
Well, she couldn't handle it, you know? She's probably
yeah,
knows
so
that,
that's
like, it's
just
too
it.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So you need people
I
that
don't
are
blame her.
willing
You
to
don't get a lot of
accept that.
sleep. Yeah.
So I have a question. It was basically our last topic. Do you feel that your energy is drained at the end of the day because of the dolls? Do you feel just
By
tired
3:00 in
generally?
the afternoon, I'm tired. Yes.
Yeah, right. Okay, all right. That's what I was
Yes,
wondering.
So do they
absolutely. That's
expect you to
another reason why
interact with
100
them?
of them went back. Oh, yeah,
Yeah. So
definitely.
so you need to entertain them during the day, just
You
like
know,
children.
for me, I don't just see dolls. I can actually see who they were, and a lot of my people who adopt out have been able to see who they were too. It's just a matter of like who you are and your ability to pick up. I thought Lindsay was like that. That's why I sent her that crystal. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not so sure that she's not. I just think she hasn't fully come into it yet.
Right.
I agree completely. Completely.
Yeah.
So you're like the owner of a and I'm not making fun. I'm just trying to compare it to something. But you're kind of like the owner of a daycare. I mean, you're responsible for them. You have to entertain them. You have to, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
I
should
would
get
call it a
subsidy.
daycare. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. 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 They would
Christine
call it that
asks,
too, probably.
Christine asks, are there any good entities or spirits connected to any of your dolls? And I don't think you've ever said they were bad necessarily, but
No, the dark room's the bad one. And I wouldn't say bad, just not
mischievous.
nice.
Just a little
Yeah.
naughty is all.
A little naughty, yeah. Yeah, these are good.
So
Yeah, I
Christine,
have
are
a
you
lot of
thinking about?
adopters who
Oh, I was just asking Christine if she was kind of entertaining the thought of maybe adopting a doll. But of course, it'll take a minute for her to answer that question.
Yeah. The delay.
Yeah, I have a lot of adopters who adopt out and send me constant updates who the things they do with their like Gretchen, she's left a few comments on here. Gretchen's really active and does a lot of things with her adoptive family, and they do a lot of things with her. Rose does a lot of things with hers when she's able to. She's had a few health issues come up, but they're still all right there with her.
Right. Now, what I found fascinating,
Matter of fact,
and what you did with Jahan is you always say that you let them choose who they go with,
yes,
and I think
yes.
that's incredible to me. You know.
Yeah, they have
I
to
actually
agree.
just
They have to
started
be
a listing.
compatible.
Yeah. After you guys adopted her, I started a listing where people will tell me what they're looking for and a little bit about themselves. And then I will go back, and that's the $100 that went over there. I will go tell them exactly who this person is, the details they gave me, and what they're looking for, and then they will choose, and it will come to me, like it did with you all. And it's been a very good success, placement wise, wouldn't you say?
Oh yeah, yeah. Yep.
Well, let me ask you this question because Christine did come back with another comment, just saying that she's not sure because she already has quite a few spirits in her house. So, is there like a doll that might be a doll that would help entertain those spirits to help calm them down?
First, she has to ask the other spirits if they want somebody else there. So you don't have any of that going on. But yeah, there are spirit dolls that are specifically able to calm down pretty much anything. Whether it be a person with anxiety or post-traumatic stress disorder or spirits who just need a little
So
taming.
service dolls.
Yeah, service
basically.
doll. Oh, a lot of them. That's what I tell people. It's like I consider them more therapy for people, like to have someone to connect with. I mean, let's face it, it's hard to connect in today's world, especially right now with the pandemic, with actual people who are here face to face, due to like not wanting to say the wrong thing or afraid of like spilling out your guts to somebody and not getting the reception you need or want. But these guys are great for that.
Wow.
I vent to this room a lot.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
It's your therapy room.
To the appropriate ones. Yeah, the therapy, absolutely.
Do you ever find yourself, and I'm just curious about this, because your ability is incredible in my opinion, what you can do, and I'm sure it's overwhelming a lot of times, but do you ever get to the point where you go out in society, you go out in the world and you say, you know what, I'd rather be with my dolls and deal with these idiots out in the real world? You know, has that ever happened?
Yes. I don't go out in society. I don't. I was, before the pandemic, I was entertaining elderly folks with my other stuff that you know about. And occasionally a night out doing that as well for fun. But I was literally ready to run back home after, my entertaining purposes and just be here. Yeah, I literally don't like being out there, as silly as that sounds. I'm just a recluse, because there's too much. I can go to the store and pick up everything. It's like, yeah,
I totally get
overwhelming.
that.
Not that I don't like people. I'm just kind of like picky.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've worked from home for the last year and a half, almost 2 years now.
Bless your heart.
And I rarely ever go out. And when I go out, it's like, oh, I don't want to go out again.
Get me home.
Yeah, you can have your groceries delivered,
Yeah, true.
Well, I have the wife do that.
That's my mom and dad. They do not leave their house.
So yeah, my only interaction was with these two guys. Well,
Bless your
and
heart.
then
yeah,
then
but
we do our
they're cool
investigation.
guys. Probably easy to get along with, and you guys have a lot in common. So
We have
it's a good match. It's hard to find.
It's very hard to find.
Very
And
hard to find.
you talked about your other passion that you do. Joey and I have been musicians for, all our lives pretty much. And it is very tough to find people who have the same goals and commonalities with you. It's really tough to find. So.
Yes, absolutely. Unless they're from the past.
Have you? That's another great question.
No judgment.
I'm sorry, I got all these questions here.
Yeah, they're coming into my head too.
But have you? I mean, do you learn anything about history from the spirits that you interact with? Do you actually learn stuff?
I do. I've seen history.
Really?
I was going to tell you, like Rose adopted the jury box, and she's been having some dreams. She said not so good dreams, but I guess some history dreams. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, if I could live back in any time, it would be the 1800s as my favorite.
Wow.
Can you read that comment from Aragon Stories?
Trying to read
About the Chihuahuas? Yeah, I understand that one because we have a Chihuahua that we adopted that came from we think he was abused as well because he does not like men. And
Except me.
So the question on that, is there a doll that could be in your collection that could calm the anxieties of animals?
Yes. I actually do another thing called Pet Reiki. I actually have a whole Instagram for that and stuff. And I definitely have a collection of spirit dolls that are involved in that.
Wow.
Interesting. So there you go.
Yeah.
You can adopt out a doll.
Yeah. And this might be a little on the personal side, but I just curious of how this has affected your, relationships and stuff through your life.
Well, 7 marriages later. No. I'm finally with the one who can, like, he loves them. Like, he totally embraces them. He thinks they're great. Absolutely.
Awesome.
Now,
He had me put them throughout the house.
Can you sleep with a
I
doll? Do you
won't.
sleep with a doll? You won't. Okay, that's what I.
No,
No. I'm saying like
that's why I was.
my son sleeps with a
No,
doll. My
no, yeah, you can, and I did. And he's, like I said, he encouraged putting them everywhere. We had them in the room and everything. This is up until like a week ago. But unless you have an understanding, or you just have one in particular one that's just gonna like be, good through the night, then I don't suggest it. But if you have a comfort one that's like for your son, you said,
that's what I was asking.
is that Tim that said that?
Yeah.
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 He has a little wolf. It's not a doll, it's a wolf, but
Yeah,
it's his
Yeah.
comfort wolf.
highly encouraged. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. I didn't think it was weird.
Mhm.
Now,
It's not
now that
weird.
you finally found the right person to be with, did you have any jealousy from any of the dolls? Like, was it, hey, she's ours, or,
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there any alpha dolls?
Yeah. Didn't. Yeah, Hank.
Hank.
she's looking at Hank.
Hank's alpha.
Yeah,
Hank's moved since.
Hank.
You know
Hank
what?
has moved.
Okay, because Raggedy Ann.
I didn't
When I
touch it.
first-
Well, that's Hank.
That's
No,
Hank.
I'm saying Raggedy Ann. When I first looked at her fuzzy red hair was touching the frame. Now it's moved into the border of
Yeah,
the
I was
frame.
gonna
of
say
the
it was
picture.
more sitting
We can
straight
go back
up.
and you can go back and check that, but I'm pretty sure Hank.
Yeah,
has moved.
Hank's moved since
And
we
he's
started.
pushed
Yeah,
the doll.
because we're talking about
He's like,
Hank.
no,
so.
I'm here. I got to get more in the frame.
Yeah.
We need to go.
I
look
was
at
a
that.
little
I'm
worried
pretty sure
about that,
doll's-
honestly. Yeah.
That doll's moved.
Yeah. That's awesome. Thank you,
I've
Hank.
had that happen. I've caught that on camera. I don't know if you saw that, but there are some that did move on camera.
Yeah,
Yes.
we've had that happen.
Yeah.
Julie moved on camera.
Yeah. I didn't get to see it. I really want to go back and watch your old shows. I
you
help
need
him
to
with the
watch the
business,
Julie.
so I'm busy so much. I was tired last night when I came in. I was like, I hope Lindsay don't call me. I was so tired.
Yeah. If you can get a chance, watch the Julie episode. It's just amazing.
She knows lots about
I need to
Julie.
do
She
that.
knows
Is
more
that
about
the
Julie
first
than
one
we
you
do.
said?
I know, but I want her to watch the episode
Yeah.
where Julie actually moved.
I think she did.
Yeah,
say that one day.
I literally didn't get to see it. No, I didn't. I started to, and I watched like a couple of minutes, and I didn't get to finish it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to though.
Okay.
Yeah, we've learned a lot about Julie because of you. So, and
Yeah.
we're really grateful for that.
Yeah.
Have you
very
heard back
grateful for that.
from the people that Lindsay contacted?
I don't think she has. I don't think she's heard back from. It's got to
Yeah.
be because of the COVID, because
Yeah.
nobody's responding.
And one of our viewers was actually very touched by the whole story. It kind of hit him very personal, and I'm going to keep that anonymous right now. But you know who I'm talking about.
Maybe he'll talk about it later.
Yeah, maybe he will.
So,
Yeah.
what was the question? Brian had a question here. Which doll has the most interesting backstory in your opinion?
Interesting. Well, I find all you guys interesting. Just so you know, they're all interesting. So
That's
I
right.
guess it would
That's right.
be a matter of,
You better not pick out a.
wow, she fell over. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
Can you guys see her? Did that happen on camera by chance?
Is this on the bed?
Yeah.
I'm not sure what happened. I mean,
Can you
it
point to
would have
which one?
capped. It would have caught it. I think we've been looking at you and not
Yeah.
watching that other that
Okay.
other screen.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
Can
check
you
it
point to
later and
which one?
see if she fell over.
I don't know if I could blow that screen
I see
up.
one that looks like it's fallen over.
Nope, not that.
And the pink. Yeah. I don't know. I wasn't watching them, so I didn't know.
Well, I
Just
did
like
see
I
the one
wasn't
that's laying
watching
down,
home.
So.
Yeah.
So that one was sitting up earlier.
Well, I thought she was.
Huh. Yeah, it didn't
I'll have to
close
go
it.
back and
I mean,
watch
she
this.
she was when I said everybody. She was earlier. If you guys watch earlier, she was. I can imagine why she would have fell.
We'll go back
when
and,
we
we'll
were-
go back and watch that and pick that out.
Yeah.
But definitely Hank's moved
So-
since we started. That I know for
Yeah.
sure.
Something
Yeah.
just flashed on your video. Some
Where
light,
at?
did you guys see that light just flash on her video?
I thought it was just a a bad feed or skipping the feed. But
All right. Well, this is going to be interesting to go back and
that's what I
rewatch.
saw about the little Annabelle right there. Her red braid kept disappearing, or her red ribbon on her left shoulder kept moving.
So is that another doll that's on her lap? Is that?
Yes, there's
sitting
two.
With Annabelle? Okay.
Yeah, she likes that.
Yeah.
She's like a babysitter then.
Yeah, none of these dolls are just set there. They're all set particularly how they want to be set.
Interesting.
Okay.
I can't just pile a doll on another doll. Like they literally will let you know.
If that doesn't work for them, huh?
They're that's why I'm like, why is she falling over? I didn't notice that earlier. That you can watch it and see if she fell over.
The white line.
I know. I see that.
Earlier, it was just touching the brown frame.
Hank.
So Hank is probably pushing Raggedy because now her hair is definitely touching the white line. That's awesome.
I want to reach out to our viewers that are watching. Did anybody else see that flash of light? Because I, clear as day, we get, you can see the screen. We have your pictures on the top, and both of those frames had a flash.
And I'm not sure. I mean, when you said that, it was like, maybe I saw something. I was looking at Hank when you said that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was interesting.
Wow.
It was almost like I blinked.
Yeah,
and I didn't blink.
I was looking the wrong direction. I guess I'll watch it later.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're definitely going to go back and watch it again.
Oh, yeah.
That was interesting. So I want to see if they really did fall and Hank's moving.
And do they respond to you as you talk to them?
They do.
Do they move as you talk to them?
They have.
Okay.
And I
So
say they have because I can't demand it, but if they want to,
Sure.
they will.
Sure.
Right.
And they have for my adopters. They've done a lot of things for my adopters. So some people, as soon as they open the box, get communication. It's just whatever they decide to do when they decide to do it. And I love hearing that. Like I absolutely love people who write me regularly or, at least let me know something. I know it's not top priority as to what's going on and the communication they get.
Well, so what the paranormal said, they went back on it, and there was definitely a flash.
There was a flash. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just a glitch.
Nope. Interesting.
Wow.
Wow.
Was it just the camera in general or was it the light?
It was on both
It was
frames.
in your room.
It was both your cameras.
It happened in the
Okay.
room.
See what I'm
Welcome
telling
to your
you?
life.
Welcome to my life.
That was
It's
interesting.
so normal that I'm oblivious to it when it happens.
Sure.
So,
Right.
Sure.
Mm.
Like me and my kids, I don't hear them at all. Not at all.
And they're not even dolls.
No, but I just tune them out.
Now, since your husband's been around all this stuff, does he have any connection? Has he developed anything since?
Unfortunately, yeah.
Really?
Sounds like a bad
Yeah,
thing.
no, I mean, he's just developing a few things. Like, I can't hide anything. It's like, it's like, yeah. Yeah, he has.
Oh. Okay.
He's adapted very well. Yeah.
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 Can he
He's been
sleep
here
through the
10
whole
years,
night,
almost
though?
11 years.
Oh, okay.
No,
Oh, that's good. He can't sleep through the whole night?
no,
Or he does? No.
no.
Can you?
And he works hard and he's tired all the time. Yeah, no.
Yeah. Oh, she already said she
Yeah.
can't sleep through the
Yeah,
night.
she said by 3:00 she's exhausted.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Yeah.
do you get any?
Yeah.
How do you get your rest and your peace at all?
Meditation. I have a cabana outside and I go there.
Okay.
Okay.
Wonderful. So you have to go
Yeah.
re-energize
I leave. Yeah.
and
I leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
recharge.
Yeah.
All right.
I turn on my
Otherwise, you
meditation
would
music
just
and
be
I go out there.
You would just be
Yeah. And I
stressed
draw
all
out
the time.
there, just whatever it takes, I do it out there.
Right.
Got it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
So when you walk back
Yeah.
in,
You
does it
definitely
just
have
hit
to have
you
a
like
hobby
ton
to
of
take
bricks?
away from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like going to Walmart, really. Like, you know,
Well, that's an experience.
That hits me right in the middle of the head too.
yeah. Then you understand.
Yeah.
I
was
figured
a
the
flight
majority of people would. It's like walking into Walmart.
Yeah.
I was a flight attendant, and I used to walk on board, and I'd hide in the back while everybody boarded, and then I'd walk up front, and it's just like, bam! It's a feeling. It's just overwhelming. Everybody with their eyes on you. Like, I'm pretty sure that's how you feel like when you walk in the room.
So, are like you an empath? Do you pick up on everybody's like feelings and thoughts, emotions? Even though they're putting on one face, you can feel the other face.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. So
There are people that
you're
I just
probably an
won't talk
empath,
to.
and that's why.
There are people that I
Yeah.
will look at and I will not speak to because it's either good or bad. I talk to everybody. Ask these guys. I mean, I will talk to anyone, anywhere. But there are people that look at me and I'm like, I avoid.
Because you can actually hear what they're thinking, see what they're thinking. And if
Yeah.
you know what I'm talking about, then you know what I'm talking about.
It's pretty darn creepy. I'm used to it now, but it's
Yeah.
pretty darn creepy.
Yeah, if you don't control it, it will definitely take over you
I
in
got it.
lots of ways, like symptomatically or mentally.
Right.
I've
Yeah.
learned how to do it by not making eye contact. I see it for a split second, and then after that, I completely refuse to make eye contact, and then I've learned to gotten over it.
Exactly. Has it gotten so bad that you can literally pick it up through a chat?
Well, this was back in the old days when
Spit it out, Tim.
So you've
kinda like
you've like you you've kind of repressed it a little bit, haven't you?
I'm sorry, say again?
You've kind of repressed it a little bit.
I've just learned to
Like
block
you kind
it.
of pushed it back.
It's like a New
Yeah.
York flight. You just learn
Blocking
to
is the word.
block the people. You
Yeah.
just don't even look at them. You know, you're going to the Midwest. You're like, hi, how are you? Good to see you. When you're on a New York flight, you just head to the back of the airplane and you just block everything out. So it's similar to that. It's similar to that with a person.
I understood. Yeah, totally.
That's interesting.
Wow.
It's the same way with the dolls.
Right.
To answer your
That's
question.
that's what I was getting
The
to.
same way.
Is that yeah, okay. Good. We're on the
Yes.
same page there.
Yes.
Thanks. I don't think we missed any questions yet.
I thought you had a whole bunch of questions.
Oh, I got some. I asked my questions, I guess.
Ask.
I think
I would
this
love to
has
hear them.
answered questions for me personally.
Is it?
Really.
Yeah.
I think it has.
Now you have just one daughter?
No, I have 3 daughters. No,
Okay.
sorry. I have a granddaughter. I have 3 children, a grandson, a granddaughter, and a granddaughter coming next week. One from each of my children.
Fun.
And
Congratulations. on
the
that.
lady in Russia, she is making me dolls, human size. She's already made one of each of those family members. So it's pretty exciting.
Wow.
So do your dolls already know where they're going to go once you relinquish your abilities or your attachment to them? Do you certain daughters know, or the dolls know which of your daughters
Yeah,
they will be following?
my middle daughter, my first daughter, sorry, my middle child will take the dolls.
Okay,
All of them.
all
Okay,
of them then.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh wow.
Okay. And that's just clear. That's just
Yes.
the way that's going to be. All right.
That's the other ones have other reasons and other things.
Okay,
Sure.
that's really a big responsibility.
That is.
Yeah.
Huge.
I mean, they live on the same land as me. They're here every day, except for she's hurt really bad right now. But typically, she would be here every day. They actually live across the yard on this land.
Okay.
Wow.
When you say land, you have quite a bit of property, I would imagine.
It's 20 acres here. It's not a
that's
lot
quite
on
a
this
bit.
particular one.
Oh, I thought you were talking big.
Yeah. Is it?
I live on
Well,
an
my
eighth of an
grandmother's is
acre.
500 acres. So that's to me
Okay,
is
that's
big.
big.
Cow.
That's
Yeah.
even bigger.
500 acres.
Here, we're
Yeah.
like half acre, quarter
That's
acre.
where I grew up.
Yeah.
I'm on an eighth.
Did they get smaller than that?
I don't know if they get it.
16?
Joey lives on her driveway. That's about the size of it.
I'm living on his driveway right
Yeah.
now.
We're mostly woods.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
And where again is this? I'm sorry. I've completely forgotten.
Missouri.
That's as specific as you can get.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all right. Wait, are you close to the river?
Yes.
Okay. You've said enough.
Jefferson City. Yeah.
Awesome. Very
Columbia, Jefferson City, that area.
awesome. Okay. Awesome. Been there. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Skeeters.
Skeeters?
Yeah.
Well, I remember when I lived in
Peters.
Gulfport, Mississippi. The
Yeah.
skeeters were about this big.
Biloxi.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, Gulfport, but
Gulfport,
yeah, not too far from
They're
there.
big. You know, they're
Are you
not
talking
there
about the
anymore.
mosquitoes?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we call skeeters.
Yeah.
I smacked one off my husband yesterday, and he was like, well, it hurt him pretty bad. He said the mosquito probably would have hurt less. Yeah, I mean, the thing was this big. It was huge.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I've
They
yeah.
can they can carry off small children.
Yes, they can. Small pets.
So,
Yeah.
Joey, I wasn't sure if you wanted to ask Elizabeth, but you recently acquired.
Yeah, well, I mentioned that to her when she was on the Julie Reveal show.
Right.
About Anne that I acquired.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I
You
really
just
need
got
to,
Anne at that point. Yeah.
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 So I need to send you a picture of her and what information I do have and
Yeah.
see what you pick up off of her.
Right. Now, did you get Anne from another doll
Goodwill.
keeper?
She came from Goodwill. So she was
Goodwill.
discarded.
Okay. Okay.
And she's just super
Aw.
interesting. She has red eyes. Well, they're pink eyes, but they sure look red.
In the
So-
picture, yeah.
Yeah. And I what I did find on her, all the other pictures that I was able to pull up, which weren't many, she has a rattle in her left hand, the one that I have. But all the pictures that I found of her from other people, it's in the right hand. And so I that's just kind of interesting to me that
You mean
Why
of
would
the
I-
same doll,
the same doll, yeah, same
but
manufacturer.
it's in a different hand. Okay, but it's in a different hand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this one's a lefty, I guess. The rest of them are all right-handed.
Huh.
So yeah, I'll have to
Yeah,
send you a picture.
Definitely want to see her. Yeah. And do you know that she's good or bad?
She just let us know who she was, and
Yeah.
haven't really had any experiences that I can really say have happened because of her, but she does draw your attention when you see her. So she does have
Yeah, I can't wait to see
a
her.
demeanor about her.
Are we going to bring her on?
Yeah,
home
if you could send a
anytime?
video and a picture, that'd be good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a TikTok.
Do you
With her.
get that question a lot? Do people contact you about their
I have a
dolls and-
TikTok. Send me it on. Send me your TikTok because I can look at
Okay.
the TikTok and
Yeah, there's
see.
a TikTok. But it's actually the little session we did where we learned her name was Anne.
Hmm.
So, okay, I'll do that.
I look forward to it.
I'll have Michelle
Great.
do it. She's got control of our TikTok. Can you do that, Michelle? BS Designs. Because it goes away this week, right? Or is it today?
No, they've suspended.
Oh, okay, good.
Somebody has stepped in and purchased it, and the president will approve it, and it may be going on. I heard that this morning.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So
Okay.
as of right now, it's not suspended. I forgot the
Okay,
name
good.
of the company that's taking it over, but
Interesting.
we're all good.
Well, super.
I heard that rumor. My husband's like, get rid of that. That's China spying on you.
They're getting your intelligence.
Yeah, well, I said I ain't that intelligent, so they ain't getting much. So it's okay.
Yeah, in Texas, they're not stealing much intelligence. Those rednecks are getting all their intelligence. I'm sorry, I'm from Texas. I can say that.
That's funny. That's funny.
Well, we got a couple minutes left.
Yeah.
That's cool.
You started asking a question. You were asking her if she gets that a
Oh
lot.
yeah. Do you through your social media, do you get people asking you about their own personal dolls? Do people send pictures to you? Does this happen quite often?
Yes,
Do you encourage it?
it does. I do, unless it comes from another doll keeper.
Okay. Well, sure.
So if it's
Conflict of interest.
If it's another doll keeper, it's kind of their responsibility to
Exactly.
relinquish that
That's
information,
conflict of
not
interest.
mine.
Cool. So if I sent
But there's
you
a lot
one
of
too,
thrift store fines.
so if I sent you one too, it wouldn't be just, oh my gosh, now everyone's sending me one. You would,
No, I look forward to
Appreciate
it
it.
actually.
all right, wonderful. All right.
And I figure
Yeah.
if they're sent to me, then I'm meant to tell them because I'm their avenue to know.
Yeah, we've definitely got one that we had on our show, a porcelain that we believe it's real red hair. Very, very special. I know it's very valuable, but
Made out of human hair?
Yeah.
Yeah, the
What-
human hair ones usually have like a connection to the person's whose hair it was.
Okay. We believe it. We believe it is.
Yes,
Didn't you
I
say-
have a
didn't
couple
you
of
say so?
those.
It felt like real hair.
What blew me away about that doll, though, Tim, how much it looked like.
Have you tried to flat iron it or
It was-
curl it?
We haven't touched it. It was given to my daughter. She's a redhead when she was just a baby.
And it looks just like her.
It looks
looks
like
just
it's
like her.
crazy.
And the hair used to look just like her hair. And I can't tell the difference. I've seen synthetic hair and nylon and what other, but no, this really, really looks. So can I do a test on that hair, like with a straightener?
Yeah, curling iron. Yeah.
And if it curls, it's
If it
real hair?
singes, it's synthetic.
Well,
If
I don't wanna
it's
singe
human,
it.
it should curl.
So you just
Well,
want
then
to
you
do
know.
just like a little tiny end of it.
Yeah,
or
just
something.
take a
So-
piece
Yeah.
off and then you burn it with a, or flatten it with an iron.
Yeah, just like take a little piece and curl it like
Right.
that, and if it singes, it's not human hair.
I'm going to send it to 23andMe.
And this has been Beauty Tips by Elizabeth.
I'm going to do a DNA test.
I was going to try to pull up the picture because I think I had the picture.
Oh, you have
somewhere.
her?
I have her somewhere.
She's so
but
beautiful.
I just don't want to mess up our streaming at all if I try to do that. But
She is just adorable. A very wealthy family member gave her to us. So I know that she's,
Back there a ways, isn't it?
I
That's
know
when we
that
did-
she's
that's when we did the doll episode.
valuable. And I don't know that she's rare. We haven't been able to find another picture of her.
There's some dolls there.
right there.
Right?
Oh, there we go.
There we go. Is
Let's
that
see
her?
if this works.
We'll load this in real quick and I'll throw a picture up there. We got about 5 minutes left. So
Yeah.
we could do that.
And Michelle said she would send you that TikTok.
Oh, great, thank you.
How do you see the doll in the picture?
I do. She's really cute. Now, is this the one with the human hair?
I believe so. I really believe so.
Yeah, just try and curl her hair and see what happens.
I
It
sure
should
will.
just take
I
a
will do
second.
that.
Do like the back
It's
underneath
messy.
side.
It's just like real hair. You can hardly ever. We tried
Yeah,
to straighten
it tangles.
Yeah, it gets tangled a lot. It gets knots in it. It's weird.
Such a cute doll.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She is cute. Is she a Drake doll by chance, or was she made by
The tag is on the back.
someone else?
I do not remember. She's a very popular brand of doll. Porcelain.
Like a
doll.
Drake?
I can't remember. That sounds familiar, but I'd have to verify that and get back with you.
Okay.
What is a Drake doll?
Is that the manufacturer?
It is. It's just very realistic looking dolls. Some of them even have
Yes.
heartbeats and make noises and
Oh,
stuff.
wow.
Oh, wow.
Wow, her eyes
Mhm.
just look like real eyes, and her face, the lips.
Yeah.
You can see the actual chap on the lips. She's just amazing looking. She's got the like bags under her eyes, and her eyebrows are real hair. They stick out, and her eyelashes.
She
she's
has
just
rooted
ama-
eyebrows.
She's just amazing.
Yeah, she's very pretty.
Let me see if I can get this to you really quick, Keith.
Oh Lord, I saw that today. My Lord, that hurt.
This was while she was still at Goodwill.
That's
Just before she came home.
Let me see if I can throw that one up there. Sorry about that.
I know we're running really close.
I know.
That's all right. We can get a quick.
There she is,
Where?
right in the middle almost.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, see if you can get a.
So we're going to put up a picture of Anne. This is while she was still at Goodwill.
That was image number 666
666.
or 66.
So this is Anne. See that rattles in the left hand where all the other specimens that I found were all in the right hand.
Did you take this picture?
Hmm?
Did you take that picture?
Michelle took that picture.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
The eyes are almost mesmerizing.
I know.
It's just,
Oh, look, they follow.
Oh, yeah,
Look
they
at
are
that.
looking at you all the time. So,
wow.
all right. That's made everybody speechless.
I'll send those pictures to you, Elizabeth. Or I'll have Lindsay phone them to you so you
Yeah.
can see them.
That one she has an off energy about her. So yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll have you back on our house show one night to talk
Oh,
about
yeah.
it.
Yeah,
We'll
please.
do that. So.
Yeah, you're fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank
This is
you.
great.
We've enjoyed you so much.
Yes, we
Thanks
have.
for coming on.
Yep.
Hank's been in my ear. He wasn't too fond of her, so I'm just letting you know.
Oh, a van? So, well, Anne's staying at my place, so.
Yeah.
The last one that was just up. Yeah,
Yeah, that was Anne.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
All right.
amazing.
All righty. Well, we'll let you run. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure. It really has.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Not a problem. We'll see you soon.
All right, send me your questions.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. We will.
Yeah, thanks again.
Don't be
All
afraid.
right.
Not
All right.
All right.
I'm
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Wow, that was crazy.
That's awesome.
Crazy stuff.
I want to go back and watch that.
Oh, absolutely.
These shows can't get any better.
All right, so we got our next guest on. I'll bring him into the studio here. We got Charlie with Transcendance Paranormal is going to talk about speaking to the dead.
All right.
So let's bring him on. You
Hello,
like-
everyone.
Hey,
Hey, Charlie, what's up?
you like Charles or Charlie?
Not much. Charlie's fine.
Okay.
Charlie,
Cool.
welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. Glad you guys are doing this. We talked a little bit in the pre-show. I hope this is a yearly thing. So
We're going to try to do it every 6
Bye.
months.
Bye,
6
Haley.
months?
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
down for
This
that,
thing just fall
quarterly,
apart?
whatever.
No, we're good.
Oh.
We're good.
Thought my chair just sprung a spring.
Kind of jumpy.
All kinds of weird things have been happening here. All right, so we're going to turn the screen over to you. Let you take it over.
Awesome. So I'm going to kind of flip the camera
All
a little
right.
bit back and forth here as we do things. I'm out here with Emma Strange. We're Transcendance Paranormal. We run a local podcast out here in the Pacific Northwest, and we do investigations, history, research, a lot of things like that. We're currently out here in a historic graveyard called Emery Graveyard. We're not going to give the exact location. We found that a lot of our favorite graveyards slowly get kind of ruined throughout the years as people get excited to go see them, and they trample things, and then it's unfortunately when they get more popular, people come through and knock over headstones, destroy things, all that. So we're not going to give a full location of where we're at, but I will walk us around the the area a little bit here. Emma Strange is working the camera, so it's a very, very small graveyard. And we talk about communicating with the dead. One of our first rules that we always talk about whenever we're working with these spaces or working with cemeteries is we always ask for permission before we enter these places, right? This is their home. This is the spirit's home. This is not our place to be. So we always ask for permission before we enter, and that's really our first rule of doing this. The second rule, of course, is being respectful, not knocking over gravestones, trying not to step on them, leaving the place better the way you found it. You can see with this graveyard, it's not the best kept, but it looks like someone recently came through here and did start to clean it up, so that's really awesome. So, I mean, we've taken, 10, 20 steps, and this is kind of the extent of the whole graveyard, so it's a very small, very tight-knit graveyard. I believe when we did our research on it, there's one head family, that's who's back here, the Embreys, who it's named after. You can see their graves are all right there. And then throughout here is either extended family, close family, or family through marriage or other things like that. So it's a very wonderful, small, great feeling graveyard. So let's go back over here to my tricks of the trade, and we're going to talk a little bit more about how we communicate with the deceased and kind of go through everything. The first tool we use is the person working the camera, Emma Strange. She is a empath, so it's kind of hard to describe. I know a lot of people when they hear about it, kind of don't believe that sort of thing exists, but well, it's really hard to explain. Essentially, she gets these feelings from the stuff. Sorry, we dropped the camera there for a second. When something's trying to communicate or something's
Just hang tight with us. We're having a little bit of audio or video difficulties, but hang in here. We'll see if we can get this back.
So we've lost your audio stream. Can you hear us, Charlie?
If you can hear us, we're not getting any audio, Charlie. Sounds like when you whoops.
Oops.
Now we lost.
Maybe he's going to reboot. It might
Okay.
be. So
I
we'll
think
bring
when
him
he
right
dropped
back.
he dropped the camera. I think when he did it must have.
Oh, okay.
All right,
Try
here we go.
pushing back on again.
is this better now?
Yeah,
there
we're
we
back
go.
now.
There we go.
Okay.
All right,
Sorry
go
there.
ahead.
Yeah,
Continue.
thanks.
Continue.
All right. So I don't know how much of the audio cut out, so I'll just repeat a little bit. So she gets these hunches, and we base our investigation, or at least the start of our investigation, off of these hunches. The biggest tool we use are these, our dowsing rods, divining rods. Probably hear them call all sorts of things. People used to use them for searching for water, and they still do work for that. You can watch all sorts of YouTube videos about using them to find water and different things on it. But there's a very popular theory out there that you can use these to speak with the dead. And I found that I have a attunement to it for whatever reason. It seems to work really well for me. When Emma Strange tries to use them, she doesn't get nearly as much information off of them. So we can only work off the information that we know. So we know that it works for me. It doesn't work for her. It may work for you. It may not work for you. You should definitely try out all the different tools that are at your disposal and see what works for you. So when we use these, you hold them out straight, and you can see that they're not really moving at all, and that's what we want. If they're moving too much, like I'm going to move a little bit here, left and right, then you have other influences like the wind blowing against it, or you're standing over water and they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. So you should always start by just kind of holding them out there, making sure that you can see they're not moving very much. Now, I usually set the ground rules before I get started. So our ground rules are always that left like this, and you say I'm going to move. Left like this means no, and then right like this means yes. And then if they cross like this, it's a I don't know, a maybe, or unanswerable for one reason or another. So we're just going to kind of give it a go. We have been here before. We have talked to some people here before. We're actually standing next to a grave of a person we have spoken to. There's another one down there that we've spoken to them. And then the head honcho of the graveyard as well over there, we've spoken to them as well. So hopefully one of them is up to talking today. We have already gotten permission to be here, so we know someone or something wants to talk to us. So let's give it a shot. So you can see I'm holding completely still. They're not really moving all that much. And then a lot of people use a word like to clear them or to focus it. I use clear. So I'll call out clear. And they'll just be kind of sitting there right in the middle. And then we'll ask a question. Is there anyone here who wants to speak with us? And you can see them start to move. And you can see they have moved over to the firm yes. So someone here wants to speak with us. Can you point to where you are? See, they're pointing. So as I suspected, this is the person we've spoken to before. This is probably who gave us permission to enter here. They are answering and they are willing to talk to us. So I don't know if the chat's going right now. I can't really see all that much. So if anyone has any questions or things like that, feel free to call them out, and we'll see if we can't answer a few questions or talk with them. Keep them respectful, of course. This person's doing us a favor by speaking with us. So, well, let's first ask this question since we're doing it. Are you okay with us recording right now? You can see that pointed over to the right over here, so that's another yes. Clear. Do you like being on camera? That's another yes. We don't know much about this individual, but we do know that they are very spirited in life. We'll put it that way. So it doesn't surprise me that they like to be the center of attention or out here happy. Is there anything that you want to say to our audience who's listening? You can see both the rods kind of went either way. So that's another way that sometimes of them saying, I don't know, or the answer's unclear, or there's interference of some kind. So we can try asking the question again if we get a feeling that it's interference. So we'll try one more time just to be sure. Clear? Oh, they're moving on their own here. Is there anything that you want to say to the people listening? Now, same response. See, they went both ways like that. So this person either doesn't know what they want to say or just really doesn't have anything to say. And that's where sometimes we'll get another tool out of the bag. So I'm going to put these down for a second. And we brought along a deck of cards. So a lot of people talk about tarot. A lot of people talk about being scared of tarot, or the evils with tarot, or there's a lot of opinions out there, just like Ouija boards or a lot of stuff with the paranormal community. You'll see that there's usually people are very conflicted on things. They either hate them, like them. So I use not a tarot deck, but I use an oracle deck called the Dark Mirror. And I got this deck specifically because it deals with the darker things of life and death, and dealing with addiction, and dealing with struggles. And it's to help you kind of learn what you're struggling with and move forward from whatever it is you're struggling with. We'll give it a shot here and see if I can get anything. But from what I know about this person we've learned before, I don't think we're going to get a great or accurate reading. but it's another tool that we use. And just like everything else, when it comes to the paranormal, this isn't an exact science. This is testing out theories. This is exploring the unknown. I like to tell people whenever we're talking about the paranormal, by definition, the paranormal is something outside of science, or something that science can't explain. So none of it can be, scientific in the terms of we have established things, but we can use theories, we can use practices, we can use ideas. So this is just one of the many tools that we like to try and use to understand. So I'm going to ask the person here, I won't say the name out because, again, we like to respect privacy and all that. If you can help me to draw the right card to convey what you're feeling, or maybe something that you're struggling with. Can you help me pick a card, please? I'm going to shuffle these up, and then I like to kind of fan them all out and see which one stands out to me, and it's this one here. So let's see what we got here. So I'll come up a little bit more. So this is the card that I drew, the Triumph of Lies. Now, some people obviously will be good enough with a tarot deck, or eventually get to the point where they know everything offhand. I'm still learning this deck. I'm still learning everything about it. So I still need the book to help me a little bit here. All the tarot decks and oracle decks and all that come with a book that give you kind of insights into the card and understanding. So we're just going to pull that out here. Another tool. Don't be ashamed of using your tools. And see what it has to say. We'll see if it's anything relevant, or, as I said, it can be wrong. There's no right way. There's no wrong way to ghost hunt. So it says the Triumph of Lies is about bargaining. The visual seed, the picture I showed you, is a headless mannequin, crowd against others under a cold neon light. They're dressed in luxury clothing, pricey accessories, and among them, one has a crowned skull floating where their face is supposed to be. The idea it's supposed to convey is, if something hurts me, I change myself so they can stop. Not all that glitters is gold. Emptiness is felt when there is nothing under the dress. So this card is a lot about appearance, how you appear in the world, how you appear to others, and the lies that come with that. We lie to ourselves. We lie to who we are. I don't know if any of this is true. I couldn't tell you, to be honest, because we haven't done much research on this person as of yet. We do plan to. That's a big part of why we're out here, is to learn about people. That's kind of the next thing we want to touch on, really, is there's this idea that floats around that the ghost hunters out here just to prove that the other side exists, or just to confirm, get these spirits to tell us, hey, the other side exists and we're real and this is what we can do. But to us here at Transcendance Paranormal, ghost hunting is something much more than that. The idea is that these are people. Ghosts are people too. These are everyone in this graveyard was once alive. Each one of these people has a story. Each one of these people has something important to say to them, or to the world, or to how all this interconnects. So we don't do this just to confirm that ghosts exist. That's a byproduct. What we do for this is to get the history, to learn about this person. Do they have stories that they wanted to share? Do they have unleft messages? Do they have business left? And that's kind of the next part we'll get into in a second, is the unfinished business part, because that's a whole another topic and thing. So we'll get there eventually. But really, the history is what we love most about this, and that's what we encourage everyone when they're doing this sort of thing, is get into the history. Each one of these people has a lot of information. This particular graveyard, because it's a pioneer cemetery, a lot of the graves are from the 1800s or 1850s, so there's not a ton of information. But even with what limited resources we had when we did the research, we found, let me grab here so you can see, back here, this grave of this person, we found their obituary. And through their obituary, we were able to find out a lot about their life and through their death. So get into the history. You know, it's not just about proving ghosts exist. Get into the excitement of that's a person, that's a story, that's so much that you can learn here. Sorry, my cameraman had to step away for a second here. So that's the one we're looking at. So let's go on to the next part I said that we would get to. Sorry, I'm jumbling over my words here. A little bit nervous. This is our first live stream, so we're really happy to do this. Oh, just coming back. There we go. So there's a lot of controversy around the idea of... I just lost my train of thought. Do you remember what I was going on about? No? that tends to happen when I get going. I kind of talk and forget where I'm going. So let's talk a little bit more about our tools of the trade since we're here and I don't remember anything else that we were talking about. In this backpack, we carry a full DSLR camera. There's a lot of talk about cameras and what is a proper camera and what isn't a proper camera. A lot of people say a cell phone is sufficient in your paranormal investigation and when you're working with them, and other people believe that it's not. So we actually carry a multitude of cameras. We have our cell phones, we have the DSLR, and we use a Fujimax camera. It's an old school Polaroid instant film camera, and on top of that we use a drone. So the reason why there's so much debate around it is that cell phone cameras tend to over digitize. Some people will say that invalidates your work. If it's all digital processing and it's done by a computer, then if you got a picture, then it's not real, it's not valid. I don't necessarily hold that opinion. I do know that cell phone cameras can do that, but as we've talked about, this isn't an exact science. We're learning. We're all doing it together. So I don't think it's invalid, but we like to carry multiple cameras so we can say, if we took a picture of a grave, looking to see if we could get a spirit, a ghost, a poltergeist, whatever you want to call it, and it shows up on one camera, but not on the other three, then we can ask those questions. You know, we can start to learn a little bit more about was an anomaly on this camera? Which camera was the anomaly? If it was just on the cell phone, okay, maybe it is digitized. If it's on the Polaroid, is it the film itself? Was the film defective? Was the film flawed? Was there something wrong with it? Was there something wrong with the lighting? Was it just on the drone? You know, the drone doesn't have the greatest camera in the world, so is it just poor camera quality? So by taking the picture multiple times across multiple things, we can help to eliminate a few of those disturbances. I remember exactly what I was talking about now. See, I just had to talk a little bit more. So helping people move on. You know, a lot of people get into this line of work because they want to they want that moment, right? I want to help a spirit move on. I want to help those angry spirits, or they want to be, like the exorcist. I want to exorcise demons and evil spirits, and I want to fight the forces of evil. Sorry, there's a low-flying plane overhead. We're in farm country out here, so apologize about that. So helping spirits move on. It's hotly debated on whether or not you can do that. It's also debated on what things you can do about it and how it all works. So we personally have worked with a few spirits that we have been unable to help move on, and a few that we have been able to help move on. So we can only speak to our personal experiences, right? So we can't tell you what's true, what's not true. We can't tell you that, but we can tell you what our experience is, what our truth is. So I'll give you an example of one that we helped out. There was a cemetery on the coast. We won't be too more specific than that because this person had recently passed. And they were a child, and they passed away in a very traumatic way. And we were asking those questions of how did you pass away? Are you safe? Do you need help? And through those questions, we determined that this person felt very guilty. They believed that in their death, it caused the death of other people, and they wanted to express that sorrow, that grief to the people that were still living. So we've begun work on researching those people who are still alive, so we can help them pass that information on. But that's also delicate, you know. It's very hard in this. I keep saying the word profession. I'm going to call it a profession to articulate that to someone who's living. You know, you got to be respectful. You can't just walk up to someone like, "Hey, I talked to your dead husband or your dead child, and they told me that they want to say X, Y, Z." That's a good way of upsetting someone. You know, that's going to cause a lot of problems. There's going to be so many issues with that. So we're working on doing the research and finding a way that we can pass this information along in a way that is respectful and also helpful. So hopefully, you know, as we said, we want to do these every 6 months, every year. Hopefully we can have an update on that the next time we come to this and talk about that. But for now, we're still in the research phase. You know, we're trying to be respectful. We're not trying to hurt anyone. A couple other spirits we have helped moved on. I'll reference a couple more tools here. So I myself am Catholic. So I like to carry my holy water, and I like to carry my rosary, and a couple Saint coins on top of that, just to be safe. Never know. So I'm grabbing in my side pouch here. So I carry both of these, and we're working on the theory that, oh, wrong side of the camera, sorry. It was in I Am Legend, actually, the book, not the movie. Book's much better, by the way. They worked on this theory that if you were Jewish in life, then when you became this vampire, this undead creature, then you still held those beliefs in death. And the main character, Robert Neville, discovered that showing a religious figure from a different religion to someone who was Jewish or Christian or Catholic had no effect on them because that wasn't their belief system in life, so that didn't carry over into death. Does that happen in real life? We don't know, but that's the theory we're operating under for now. So we've had about 3 or 4 different spirits we've spoken to. There was a reverend, there was a few people who had passed away in another cemetery, and when we spoke to them, they said they wanted help, but they weren't really more clear at first. They wanted help moving on to the other side. And we asked if they would like prayers, because there's this, again, this is our beliefs and our knowledge. There are some people who believe that in order to get into heaven, you go through like purgatory, right? You have to burn off your sins. You have to be prayed for. You have to have penance before you can move on to the other side. So we were operating that they were under this belief. So I took my rosary and we just sat together. We sat and we prayed together. And something truly amazing happened in that time that, you know, we'd sit there and pray and pray and pray. And then we would check back in with them using the dowsing rods, and their energy would be gone. We would try and call out to them, and it was no longer there. We would try and ask questions, and it was no longer there. So is that proof that we've moved them onto the side? No. But, you know, it's as we try and go down the list of, well, what did we do? It's hard to come to any other conclusions. So we kind of take it as this is what we know, right? So these are the facts that we have. They were here. They were talking to us. They asked for prayer. We prayed for them, and they're gone. So, of course, we can't answer all the questions, but that is a great experience. And it is, again, a part of the reason why many people get into this. And one of the reasons I really like doing this is helping those people move on. You know, we've all seen movies like The Exorcist or horror movies where there's the evil spirit that hasn't moved on, or it was hurt very much in life, and so now it's taking on other people. And those exist, 100% those exist. We have an episode, if you check out our podcast on Transcendance Paranormal, where we interview Mr. Black, a demonologist who very closely works with those spirits, who's had encounters with both demonic possessions and also dealing with human spirits who, for whatever reason, are acting out, dissatisfied, or coming back to, quote, haunt us. So We have a whole episode on that. We don't have enough time to get into all of that, but they do exist. Those dangers do exist. So as far as the human spirits that are angry go, we have not been able to move one of those to the other side. There was one person, we believe her name to be Elise. She was out in a graveyard. Again, we won't say the location, but it was local to us. And we met a nice Irish Catholic spirit named, we call him Mr. McCorkle. He was terrified of this spirit. He said, it's a demon. It's angry. It wants to kill us. You need to help us. And we were like, well, what do you want us to do? I'm not trained to fight demons. I don't know how to fight demons. But this is a part of the job, right? You sign up for this. You want to speak with the spirits. You have to be prepared to answer for you, right? Talk to them. That's a part of the conversation. And he was begging for help. And there was another spirit there, a baby named Lorraine. And she was just crying and terrified. And she was very nonverbal. This is one of the really interesting things we learned about speaking with the dead is there's always that thought, like if you die and you're old, are you still old? Or do you come back to being, your physical prime? If you pass away when you're a child, do you age? Do you become an old man or an old spirit? Or do you maintain the same age as being a child? In our experience, you retain the same qualities in death that you had in life. So if you pass away as a child, then you remain a child. If you pass away as an old man, then you remain an old man. So we were talking to someone who passed away as a very, very young child. And we learned that very quickly because they were very nonverbal. And that's going to sound really weird. But, when I'm holding these out like this, there's an energy. People talk a lot about energy, whether it be electromagnetic energy or energy we can't feel. We talk about spirit vampires. We talk about empaths and mediums who can access that energy. So in our experience, they do have an energy, and I can feel that energy, and it varies from spirit to spirit or from person to person, if you will. So Lorraine was very, very nonverbal, and we believe that to be because she was a child who never learned to speak due to their age or was never capable of speaking, but they could still convey those emotions. A child cries, you can tell a difference in a child's cry, whether it's fear, whether it's laughter, whether it's playing. You can tell those differences in the screaming, and we felt that screaming, and we knew it was terror. And they both asked for us to help them with this demon. So we tried talking to it, and it answered some questions, but it really did not want to talk with us. So we felt ill-prepared to deal with this situation, and we decided to leave, and we would come back in a future time to try and work with it once we could do some research, once we could figure out, this is where the community is so great and why we always encourage people to be a part of the paranormal community. Shoot out to the Reddit paranormals or to the forums or all the different places you go for paranormal news and help, is asking, has anyone dealt with this? What do? We really didn't know. And unfortunately, we didn't have much time to research before the problem came to us. When we were in our own home, our medium, Emma Strange, said that there's someone here. And we're like, what? And so we grabbed the divining rods, and we found out that it was Lorraine and McCorkle. And by the way, all this is also on our podcast. If you want to hear the whole stories, I know I'm kind of chopping it up, but again, only a limited amount of time. So we grabbed the rods and verified that it's them. And they said that it followed them to us, that they came with us and they followed us, and that this demon entity is out on the front porch. And to this day, it is still hanging around our house. We haven't figured out how to deal with it yet. So if anyone out there is listening and happens to know how to deal with that, we would much appreciate the advice on that, because we could really use it. We're still working on finding out who this person was. We have figured out that it's not a demon. It's a human spirit. We believe it to be someone who met their fate. Unfortunately, they were life cut short, essentially, and so they're not accepting of that, and because of that non-acceptance, it's led them to lash out at others, these other spirits in particular. So you'll hear a lot of people talk about moving spirits on, and like I said, we're speaking from our experience. We have seen it personally happen, but we've also seen where it doesn't happen, so we don't know what triggers it or what causes them to move on, but it can happen as a natural part of the conversations. And it is something that we believe to be important. Sometimes people have called us like spirit healers, for example, where we're trying to help them heal past a traumatic event, their death, whatever it may be, and move them forward. So it is a part of speaking with the dead. So if you are going to try this, and again, I encourage everyone to do it if that's what you want to do, know that is a natural part of the conversation. That does naturally tend to be where it progresses to, and that may be something that you're tasked with dealing with or called to deal with. Since we're on the topic of new people trying this out, there's something else I want to bring up in speaking to the dead, and that is to protect yourself. Please protect yourself. We're going to talk about physical and spiritual. So physically protect yourself. Don't go out into graveyards that you've never been before unprepared. Don't drive out in the middle of the night. As you can see, it's daytime out. We're 1 p.m. Pacific time. You don't have to ghost hunt at night. You don't have to go to dangerous locations. You don't have to be unprepared. So take a full tank of gas. Bring your gear. Bring a friend. Tell people where you're going. Have a first aid kit or something back up if something goes wrong. Please be safe when you're doing this. Physically, that is the most important thing. There's countless stories of people going hiking in the woods and going missing, or people going out on day hikes, things like that. This is no different. Even though the graveyard may be in town, be prepared for whatever is going to happen. So please bring your supplies. Please be safe. And then we're going to talk about a little bit of spiritually protecting yourself. And this is, again, theories and based on our own experience. So your experience may differ. But you are going to open yourself up to, just like when people talk about playing with Ouija boards or tarot cards or other things, that opens yourself out to the universe. And Mr. Black calls it the law of attraction, that if you're doing these things, then you're going to be involved in these things, and those things tend to find you. So find some way to protect yourself. Emma Strange is a Norse pagan, so she has her own rituals that she goes through. She has her own system of beliefs for how to make sure that when she's out here doing these things don't follow her home, that she's not becoming, something's latching on to her and coming after her, causing nightmares or hauntings or anything like that. Me personally, I'm a Catholic, so I wear my rosary. As you saw, I have my other one. I wear my rosary. I do prayers and meditation and a lot of different things to make sure that I'm protecting myself. I ask for that strength. I ask for that looking out over me as I do these things, and that's what works for my belief system. So it's hard to gauge whether or not we've had success with it, because we have had things follow us home. But you also read about people who go out and play with Ouija boards or go out to the graveyard one time and then they can't sleep. They start to get sick. They have other things happening to them. And while we can't necessarily pinpoint that on haunting, we also should mitigate the risks to ourselves by finding something that works for us. So again, reach out to the community, talk to other people either in your faith or in your belief system, talk to other people who do ghost hunting. You'll find a lot of them have rituals. A lot of them have either talismans or runes or prayers or other things they do to really protect themselves, to cleanse themselves before doing this. So if you're going to go out and do it, again, do it if you want to do it. We encourage everyone to be a part of the community, but also be safe while you're doing it. I'll take a brief moment, talk away from that for a second, to talk about our website, lonelyghostcottage.com. That is where you can find links to our podcast, Transcendance Paranormal. We got 14 episodes up right now where we talk about our experiences and talking to the dead. We have a episode where you can learn how to do a beginner ghost hunt. So we go step by step through the gear, the preparations, who you talk to, all of that to kind of work out your first ghost hunt. We have interviews with demonologists, with Sasquatch hunters, people who've been in touch with or had experiences with Sasquatch. So check out lonelyghostcottage.com for links to our paranormal podcast, as well as Emma Strange is an artist herself, so she makes all sorts of spooky designs. With Halloween coming up, we make Ouija boards, we make all sorts of different things that kind of fit into the category. So 10-second promotional period there. I'm going to check the comments really quick here, see if anyone had any questions or anything that they wanted to ask. Let's see here. Don't see anything yet. If you do have any questions, you can put them in the chat or call out to the our fine folks hosting it, and they can read it out to me or interrupt or bump in however they want to do with those questions. So I'm going to grab the divining rods here a little bit more and see if we can just do a little bit more talking on this. That's always like the most interesting thing that people see. And there's no definitive proof on them either. I mean, the wind is blowing right now, so you'll see them kind of moving a little bit to the right because the wind is blowing. So what I'm going to try and do is, since you can see they're pointing this way, I'm going to ask if our spirit can move them the other way against the wind to show kind of the validity of these. So a spirit we've been talking to, can you show me no really quick? Can you move the rods to the other side for me? And you can see I'm trying my best to keep my hands still here. You know, human air, I can't be perfectly straight, but you can see that he was able to move them. Can you show me that again? Can you show it to no? Now, can you show us yes? Can you show us maybe? So you can see that they move, and I thank you again for this. I'm sorry, Spirit. I'm going to call you Mr. H if that's okay, Spirit. Is it okay if I call you Mr. H? Because I don't want to give your name out, but is it okay to call you Mr. H? Yes. Thank you, Mr. H. You know, I don't like pretending like I'm giving commands. I don't like the idea of bossing the spirits around. But it's important to do the little bit of debunking that we can. As I've talked about, that everything it's not a science. It's working on theories and what we do know. But a big part of the talking with the dead and debunking is also debunking it, trying to figure out what is real and what is not. So I'll talk a little bit about our debunking methods. In particular, that kind of proved to us the validity of the rods and what we do was with Emma Strange's grandpa when he passed away. That was, of course, devastating to her and devastating to the family. Overall, it's a traumatic experience. Death is traumatic, and everyone deals with it in their own way. And then eventually we reached out with him and were able to talk to him through the rods. But much like a Ouija board where people say you don't really know who you're talking to, we wanted to be sure, is this the grandpa that we're talking to, or is this something else, say a demon trying to pretend to be him, or a malicious spirit trying to pretend to be him to toy with us or to get in our house. So debunking is an important part of those conversations as well, to make sure that you're talking to the right person. So there's a couple ways that we go about debunking. The number one way is, and the most, I'll call it foolproof way that we may have, is using information that I, the asker, don't know, that either only the spirit or the spirit and other people that not me know the answer to. For example, in our house there is a clock that her grandpa made for her before he had passed away, and I had no knowledge of this. I just thought it was a clock. So I had no idea the importance of this clock. But when asked the question, can you point to something that you've made? I don't know the answer to that. So I have no way of knowing. But the rods would then turn, and they pointed behind myself to where the clock was at on the wall. And that helps us to, well, the only people who knew that was Emma Strange and her grandpa. So there's no way for me to know it. So could I guess at it? Potentially. But, 360 degrees, I can point all around myself. What are the odds I would point at the one object that was made by him before he passed? So it's not good enough just to ask one question, right? So you should ask multiple questions or do multiple things. So we went through a whole bunch of paperwork. When he passed away, he had files and files of things that he had found. And we asked those questions. Which one of these is yours? Which one of these belong to your mother? All questions I had no answers to, but was able to answer through the rods. Thank you. I was just checking the comments there. Yes, please, if you have questions, ask them, or comments or anything. I love interacting with people. So please, if you have anything, do feel free to ask those. So he was able to point out documents. I had no knowledge of what these documents were or why they were written, but did you sign this document? Yes. Look at it. There's a signature. Did this document belong to your mother? Yes. Look at the document. There's his mother's information. So those sort of things we can use to help debunk who we're speaking to. Now, when you're out in the field like us right now, it's a little bit harder. A little bit harder because we don't know this person. Like Mr. H, for example, all I know is his name and his date. So asking questions, we'll often have Emma Strange. She'll walk up to a gravestone I haven't seen before, and we'll ask a question like, what month did you pass away, if that's information is on the grave, or what year did you pass away? And we'll just do something like a process of elimination here. So Obviously, this isn't a great example because I can see it, but I'll ask like Mr. H, did you pass away in 1915? And you'll see the answer is no, he didn't. Mr. H, did you pass away in 1920? No. Mr. H, did you pass away in 1918? Yes. And that's accurate. So we can do those sorts of things where I don't see the answer and Emma Strange sees it, and then we can verify, okay, we're speaking to the right person, we're getting the right information because we can verify with what's there. Oh, I see some things popping up, or is this the same questions as before? I'm glad you're learning something new. So we actually do have pendulums as well. I've been practicing with the pendulum, but I'll tell you, it's a lot harder to do the pendulum than it is the rods because I have shaky hands, right? So I hold it out, it shakes a little bit. When you're holding the pendulum in my shaky hands, it doesn't work well for me with that one, but I'm trying. And that's another thing, that it's accepting the tools you can use and can't use. And I'm glad to see that, the movies ruin everything paranormal. They're really fun to watch. I love watching horror movies. It's our one of our traditions was always to go to the Red Box and rent the most B-rated horror movie we could find and just have a good laugh at it. But truly, like, everyone believes that exorcism is like The Exorcist. And while Mr. Black, our demonologist, does say that is the closest representation, it's not always flying through windows and spewing vomit and crosses turning upside down and burning. There's a lot more to it. So I'm glad you can see the power of the rods. And it may or may not work for you. Again, that this is something that I've got an attunement to. It's I never really, we went ghost hunting back in when we first started in 2012 was the first time we ever went on a ghost hunt. And we were with a big group, and they gave out a pair of rods like these to have people try them. And I was just out on the corner asking, silly questions, seeing if I could find and ask, can you tell us where you're at? And it pointed, and we snapped the shot, and that was our first picture of a ghost. And that's how I learned, oh, these work for me. Emma Strange has used them many times, and she's wanted to talk to her grandpa many times, and she can't get them to work at all for her. So, give them a try, but it doesn't necessarily work. The steady hands. Yes. If you have steady hands, it works much better. If you have also heard you can put them on like the pendulum swings where it holds it still so it eliminates your hands at all. I've never tried that, but I would definitely like to. I'm a big believer in the pendulums. I think they're just as handy. But that's also why we bring the other tools. Pendulums and dowsing rods both are very limited. You can ask yes or no questions, right? You can't get more information than that. So by using the tarot decks and other things that we have, we can try and get more information for those history things. What's the best way to make sure you're not controlling the rods, or is that even possible? That is a great question. So there's a couple things you can do. The first one, of course, is always being conscious. You can't eliminate the human factor from it. We're always going to be people. We're always going to have little ticks and mistakes. And I'm honest about when I move, many times we'll be filming for like multiple hours while we're doing things. When I move them, I'll tell Emma like, oh, hey, that was no good. I moved. We need to ask that question again. Or sorry, I twitched. When you hold them up like this, if you've ever done like weightlifting where you do like the deadlifting where you're holding things out for this long, you realize even small weight things eventually start shaking and you drop them. So every now and then I'll say, I'm getting too inaccurate. We need to drop the rods for 5 to 10 minutes for me to rest because I'm having too many problems. So one is you're not going to eliminate it totally, but there is some things you can learn to help eliminate those false positives. The first one is working on your posture. So you should be completely straight up and down and have them out and have your elbows kind of like at an angle. The problem is that this matters a lot. So you can see like if I drop my elbows down and I point the rods down a little bit, you can see they're swinging. So even without me moving, there's movement in them because my elbows are drooped down. Same thing if I just do a subtle tilt up with the hands, you can see they move on their own. And this is something why people call out, charlatans and tricksters and magicians for tricking people, because it is very easy with a subtle move of the hand. I'll try and do it here. You can see I can make the rods move with very subtle movements that are hard to pick up on camera. So it's very easy for a fraudster to come in here and make you believe something with very, very subtle movements. But your posture is number one. You should have your elbows kind of out at a little bit of an angle, but as straight as possible, standing straight up. I've tried doing it while I'm sitting, and I can tell you that when I'm sitting, my posture is bad. I lean over, hunch over, and they do not work at all for me. Everything's false positives there. So the best thing you can do is with the posture, also learn what works for you. If it only works in one position, then make sure you're in that position and posturing when you're doing it to eliminate the errors of, oh, my hands were tilted too high up or they're too hard down. If you do it the same way at the same time every time, that will help you to make sure that you're eliminating the other factors as much as you can. But again, we're all humans, so leaves and stuff falling behind me scared me for a second there. You can only eliminate so much of the human factor. The other thing that's really important to learn is it's not just the physical rods. I talked a little bit about energy. So when someone like Mr. H, can you go ahead and move the rods again for me? Can you show me no? Can you show me yes? So when he's moving the rods like that, back and forth, I'm going to put this one. So as they're moving back and forth like this, there's this feeling I get here of energy. And I've had a whole bunch of different people that have a lot of different energy. So I can feel violent and hateful energy, or very energetic or happy energy. The one person we talked to over here was a girl who was about 4 or 5, and she had like this really, really bubbly, happy energy. And I knew that was different than Mr. H's energy. So by also being able to learn that intuition of your energy, you can help to kind of eliminate, is this me? Because if it's me moving them, I won't feel that energy. So I can say, okay, I'm talking to this person because I feel that energy. And sometimes when I'm asking questions, the rods will give me an unexpected answer. But like, wait, that energy was different. I'm talking to someone else now, or someone else interrupted, kind of like, just pushed out the other person and started talking because they wanted to talk. So really honing your intuition. And as you probably know, pendulums, tarot cards, a lot of those things can also help you to listen to yourself and listen to your intuition. You should practice that as well, because that will help you to feel that energy when it shifts, when there's changes, and that will help you to tell you, am I really talking to someone, or am I making mistakes and moving them on my own? I see a couple more questions pop up here. Oh, that's interesting. I hadn't heard of that. The muscle test. That's a good point. So as I was talking about, finding what works for you is what's going to be the best. So every person is different. So you're not going to find the one thing that works across the board for everyone. It's going to work for different people in different ways. Checking the time here, we got about 10 more minutes. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else about speaking with the deceased that we've kind of left off here. As I said, our podcast goes much more in depth on these stories and everything else. So if you want the full story, you'll have to go there. But I think we covered kind of the whole thing. So I'd like to do a couple more quick things. Almost put that on the grave. Again, it's a respect thing. I don't want to put things on someone's grave and disrespect them. So I'm going to switch the camera over here so you can see the whole graveyard we're in from the outside, because this is just a beautiful, wonderful place. And we want to thank, of course, everyone who's here, the deceased, the spirits, for giving us permission to be here and do this, because it's such a lovely, wonderful graveyard. Let me change the camera here. Oh, I cut the camera off. That's not what I wanted to do. There we go. So it's the Embry Cemetery. See, officially it was a historic cemetery, and it's been recorded. And this is the whole thing. I can sweep about 20 degrees with my elbow here, and you can see the whole thing. It's a wonderful little graveyard, and hopefully it'll get some cleanup. You can see there's some stuff that's starting to be picked away. You can see this is kind of clean here. So someone is caretaking it. And I bet it's the original family, because they are still around. And that's going back to the whole respect thing. We've spoken to 3 or 4 different spirits in this graveyard, but we're not going to contact the family and tell them, unless any of the spirits here really want to talk to their family member, then we will find a way to perhaps do that. But please don't go out of your way to bring this up to the people who are related to anyone here. it's shocking, it's jarring, it's pulling off old bandages for some people. So the respect is so huge in the paranormal community. So you can find our podcast, lonelyghostcottage.com is where you can find direct links to it. It's Transcendance Paranormal. You can find it on Amazon Music. It's on Spotify is my favorite, Podbean, Apple Music, kind of all of those. You can find it on Transcendance Paranormal. You can see I see it on my screen. So over down here, that's the name of the show. As I said, we have 14 episodes up right now. We got another one hopefully coming out on Tuesday where we speak to demonologists. We've spoken to Sasquatch people. We have all of our experiences. There's one that we don't talk a whole lot about, but I'll bring it up here since we got a few minutes, because this is one of those things where people are like, oh, you're absolutely crazy. You have no idea what you're talking about. We have about 16 spirits currently living in our house that we have gone out and done our work with the dowsing rods and everything and talked to them, and basically they're bored. They're bored of the cemetery, or for whatever reason, they want to continue to talk with us. So they come with us to our house. So our house is this haunted bed of activity, and we talk about our experiences with that, because we have one little ghost boy we talk about, Kenneth. He loves cooking shows, and so we'll sit there with the dowsing rods and ask him questions. He loves Guy Fieri, think of the name, it's a triple G, Guy's Grocery Games. Absolutely loves Guy's Grocery Games, and so we can talk to him about cooking. We've talked about making a dumb supper where we leave not a dumb supper, because that's like an official thing, but basically leaving food out for them, an offering. And he was very mad when I suggested very basic things, because he's been watching all these cooking shows, right? He wants a feast made, essentially, and I'm like, I can do a peanut butter and jelly sandwich or top ramen, and that didn't cut it for him. We have Mr. McCorkle, the Irish Catholic I talked about. He's very much an old school Irish Catholic, so he likes his Bible, he likes his whiskey. We've shared a shot or two. And we talk about all these experiences and living with all these spirits. We had one that's left our house. We were out at Dimash Mental Hospital that's now demolished and gone, and we actually picked up a spirit there that was haunting us for a little bit here. So that was a horrible experience. We've talked about. We had nightmares all night. They stood at the foot of our bed. They scared us real bad a few times. So it's interesting. There's a lot to talk about there. We've talked about that as well, and that's a super interesting theory. The comments. Tim Rice talks about that, like they are from another country and you're the only one that speaks their language. So these are all theories we're working with, but we found many spirits who, for whatever reason, want to talk to us, either because they can, between our empath and our dowsing rods, that they're able to communicate with us, and they just want to communicate. A few of them just were bored and wanted to hang out. Other ones needed help moving on, and we haven't gotten to them yet, because a lot of research goes into that. But it also could be that if you were, say, a foreigner in a country where you didn't speak the language, it's very possible you may not be able to communicate with either of those spirits. We don't know, is there a universal translator in the afterlife? Who knows? But if you can finally talk to someone for the first time that you can talk to anyone in 100 years, maybe you go with them so that you can talk to someone, because it's nice to talk to someone again. So language, geography can play a part in it. We thought originally geography played a part in it. Like we thought, well, how far can a spirit go from point A to point B, right? Like if like when we were at the Oregon coast, Kenneth came from the Oregon coast. Can he follow us from the Oregon coast all the way to the middle of Oregon? It's 200-300 miles, not miles. Sorry, I'm wrong. It's 2 or 3 hours away. So is geography a part of it? So far, we've learned no, that they can travel pretty far, but it varies from person to person as well. I just got the tweet that we're wrapping us up here, so we got 5 more minutes. Is there any last minute questions that we can answer? Any last minute things we can do before we run out of time here?
Are we all? Whoops. Oh, there we go.
Hi guys. Sorry about
Oh
that.
man, Charlie, you disappeared on us real quick.
Sorry, I
There we
clicked
go.
the wrong button.
Oh, okay. Great job, man.
Thank you.
That was very informative, and you know, I learned from my grandfather when I was really young how to use dowsing rods to find the pipes in the yard, you know, and I've never used them. I've seen them used in the paranormal field, but I've never done it myself. But I'm really interested to try it.
Now it's time to dust them off and try it again.
Absolutely. So you see, I'm with our next guest.
Yeah, and listen, man, I want to say thank you. There's so many people that have commented that, and even myself, my grandpa taught me how to do, dowling rods when I was just a young kid, and you taught me a whole lot of tricks and hints there. So thank you so much. I mean, that's just amazing. I had a pair of rods when I was young, and my grandpa had them. I had them for years, but then I ended up getting, the little bell flags where they mark them, the little things. I ended up getting a pair of those, and they worked just fine. So, but thank you so much, man.
Thanks.
That's a lot of great
Yeah,
information.
awesome job.
For
Yeah,
sure.
we got to
And
wrap
if,
it up so we can start the next feed.
Thank you, sir, and we'll have you
But
back.
thank you so much.
Please,
and everybody
please do.
go
I
to
want to be next month or next time.
All right,
All
buddy.
right.
Thank you so much.
and everybody go
Take
check
it
out
easy.
his channels.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, folks. We'll stand by for next segment, starting in just
A few minutes.
just a couple minutes.
Thank you.
And Tim and his buddies here will be joining us. It'll be cool.
See you in a few.